Big good win here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, help promote, and rank up my channel, all that good stuff. So, Stargirl episode 10 is what we're reviewing. Brainwave Jr. And the logline on this one is, as Henry Jones discovers his newfound skills, uncovered secrets from his family past, force him to make a difficult decision. Meanwhile, Courtney, Yolanda, Beth, and Rick's latest plan brings them face to face with a member of the ISA. Finally, tensions between Pat and Barbara force her to revisit her own past. Now, normally I break this down into 3 sections. I give you the best up front because you got to hook your audience, and then I'll go into a bias section, my own personal individual bias of the episode that may not affect your viewership of it, and then I'll get into the worst stuff. I'll save the worst stuff for last. But this episode, I gotta say, this episode is absolutely amazing. Stargirl Season 1 is proving to be quite the explosive treasure that Season 2 may not live up to the standards of, because, as we know, it's being transferred over to CW pretty much, and they could run interference on production development, the plot, the budget could be a lot lower. But as it stands right now, Stargirl Episode 10, Brainwave Jr. is an absolute must-see. This show is living up to Daredevil status in terms of storytelling and effect. Yes, it's not. This one's more family friendly, more family oriented, and more grounded in those kind of traditional values, which is pretty damn refreshing in my own opinion. But this episode is just full of this episode is masterfully written. This is masterful storytelling when it comes down to it. You have all these tensions amplified and all these different elements, character arcs, playing off each other, bouncing off each other, and it's just meshed so well together that it is startling. And the action in here is very stunning. It's very awesome, very well choreographed, very well played. I mean, this episode does so much, though, when it comes to the tensions between all the characters. It is just absolutely amazing that they have all these elements working in conjunction with each other. It's just really mind-blowing, honestly. I thought this episode was pretty much perfect. I'm very critical of a lot of things, and I thought this episode was just absolutely amazing. So, spoiler warning, you know, this episode does have Courtney's mom discovering her and Pat's secret double life that they lead as superheroes. And the way it happens, the way that, you know, you've got Pat trying to explain, but Courtney interfering, you know, because she's always got to do that, and then you have Courtney trying to defend Pat. At first, she didn't even like Pat, and now here we are, and the mother thinks that Pat's to blame for all this, that he's filling this young girl's head with all this, but really it's Courtney filling her own head with all this stuff, like Starman was her father and all this and that, which she doubles down on in this episode again and again, and she even draws her own conclusion that Brainwave Jr. must be her cousin. And that happens later in the episode, but to have her defending Pat and trying to point how good of a guy he's been, how he's been doing this right, that was really amazing. To have Pat have to face the seriousness that this marriage might be over, and to have Mike stand his ground, Pat's son stand with him, and try to find out what's going on and try to reason with Courtney, and seeing how Courtney reacts to that, and just all these elements, like when they bring in Brainwave Jr. and Yolanda is having you know, the new JSA that Courtney recruited is having to deal with her wanting to bring Brainwave Jr. in, and it ruining Yolanda and Courtney's friendship, and and them being forced to work together because they have this past and they have this conflict, and it just makes the tensions absolutely great. You combine that tension there with the tension going on between Courtney and Barbara, the tension going on between Matt and Barbara, the tension going on between Jordan and Brainwave, the tension going on between Brainwave Jr., his father, and Jordan. All these elements, and Brainwave Jr. looking into his father's past, trying to figure out what happened to his mom, coming to the conclusion that Jordan Icicle must be responsible for it, and have Brainwave not wake up from his coma, not remembering the past like 10 years or something. All these work so well together, and all the characters stayed really true to who they are over the course of this. You have Pat trying to be the best guy he can be and do the right thing, even at his own cost, his own interest. He has to put the safety of Courtney and Barbara above his own. And you have, Courtney still being reckless, still trying to do this, still trying to go in with a half a plan, or not even really a plan, and it gets them involved in this really dangerous situation where Courtney doesn't even have her staff, and Beth's tech isn't working. They're underground, so that you got the team at half their power. And then you have this rogue element, this rogue unknown element, Brainwave Jr., who you don't know which side, when it comes down to which side he's going to stand with. You have them going into this secret underground layer of the villains, trying to figure, doing this, and splitting up on top of that. Courtney made some very reckless decisions in this one, but the action was top-notch and incredibly spectacular. It really... I do have to say, I kept saying, come on, man, free the staff. Get the staff. Bet the fighting. Stargirl, now, I guess one element I could say is that maybe it's a little far-fetched how well Courtney fought without her staff. Bet she is into gymnastics and all that. However, she fought very well for somebody that may not have that much training. I will say that without the staff, because the cosmic staff really is her power punch. But this episode did drama. It amplified tensions. It did romance in an adorable way too, with Barbara and Pat first meeting and the banana split situation. Two people having the same order, and then there only being one banana split left. That was pretty cool in its own right. Now, I like the cafe scene, the setting, the sets on this show, the family values, the traditional stuff, the classic feel of everything. It's so incredible. It really is. I can't praise this show enough for the thing it's doing, and it seems like it just gets better and better every episode. The past 2 or 3 episodes have really amazed me. I was a little touch and go there early in. Early on, the show is great, but it does have a lot of things you can question, a lot of elements, a lot of scenes, but it just gets better and better as it goes. And now that we're here in episode 10, this is really a must-see episode. Even if you're questioning about getting into the series, you need to just go for it. It really is not like the CW Arrowverse stuff. It really is not. I highly recommend giving this show a real chance, because in this episode you have everything so well done. It is masterful storytelling. The drama, the romance, the romantic element, even though it's very light, there's a really well done romantic element in there. There's the drama, the high stakes, the action. The action is awesome. There's a little bit of comedy in there too, and that stuff's pretty funny, such as when Dragon King's face is revealed and Yolanda and Courtney scream. But Sydney too, going off in the background because she's locked in her cage, and there's just so many elements in this episode that work so well together, and I believe this episode is a solid 10 out of 10. I rarely ever give anything that rating, but it is a solid 10 out of 10 for me. And I'm very curious to see where next week goes. We're really approaching the end of the season. That this episode, it had a high stakes emotions, high stakes tension, the action, the drama, and there is a sadness, a sad element to this episode. And these villains are really some hardcore villains, man. This solid 10 out of 10. I want to hear comments and opinions down below. Your thoughts on this particular episode. Your thoughts on where we might be headed. Really, man, I am really enjoying this show. I am nervous about season 2 because them moving from DC Universe to CW. I hope it doesn't negatively impact the show, because the show is stunning, and it is up there with entertainment and quality like Daredevil. Even though it is very different in tone, it is up there with Daredevil and in terms of storytelling and the quality of production and acting and the way they just masterfully tell certain stories. Anyways, that's the video there. Fake Goodwin. Eventually we will like, subscribe, share. I'll have another video coming up at 2. It won't be a review. It'll be my usual type stuff. But on this channel, I do 3 videos a day, and I'm trying to get a schedule hammered out where I'm doing one at like 9, 11, and 2. And then I have my secondary channel where it's just going to be for reviews. And I'm trying to figure all that stuff out. But like, subscribe, share. If you like Stargirl and you want to hear somebody review it, that's one of the shows I review. There's not a lot of shows to review under current circumstances and all that. But I will be doing The Boys and Umbrella Academy. Fake Goodwin here. Eventually we will stay awesome. Rock on. And